Kaya nga.
Kanina gising na siya, iba.
And ayan, we are live. Good morning,
Good
mga
morning.
nasa Canada. And good evening sa mga nasa Pilipinas. We're just waiting for some viewers to join us right now. Teka lang, may aayusin na ako sa profile ko na real quick. But we have Norms and we have Jen. They're both registered nurses here in Canada. And they will be sharing with us their pathway, their experience, how they were able to achieve their Canadian dream and get that Canadian license and practice their profession here in Canada as nurses. So yun yung mga pag-uusapan natin ngayon. So you can get some ideas if you guys are nurses from back home in the Philippines, or if you guys are nurses abroad, just like Norms and Jen. And we have Bernard joining us today as well. Hi, Bernard. Okay,
Good
so
morning.
before we introduce ourselves, I'll just fix something here. Maybe you'd want to share the live too para mapanood din ng family nyo at mga friends ninyo abroad. Let me just work on it real quick. Share mo nga. Yung live.
Sa TV.
Okay. Hello. Good morning, good evening. So, unfortunately, the timing is not perfect para sa kasi magkaiba yung time zone natin dito sa Philippines. Saka, di ba, alam niyo naman 12 hours. So, 11, hindi ko alam kung buhay pa ang mga Pilipino dun ngayon at nandito. But this webinar is recorded so they can always go back to it. But I would like to introduce myself. This is going to be the first time I'm going to be speaking with Jen and Bernard. Norms, I was able to talk to her way back because I was the one who assisted her with her LOA. So my name is Aileen, and I was also an international student here in Canada. We started our blog, Sarky and Aileen, and we also started International Student Ally, and we are directly partnered with Niagara College as well. So we have sent students there study, and we'd waive IELTS and waived application fee. So if you can kindly introduce yourself real quick. Thank you. We can maybe start with, of course, yung pinakamaaga sa atin. Si Bernard. Maybe Bernard, siguro of course they know your name na how old are you, if that's okay, where are you from, naging OFW ka ba, and kailan ka dumating dito sa Canada?
Okay.
And yung program mo.
Yes. My name is Bernard Santos. I'm 37 years old. I'm an ex-OFW in Saudi Arabia. I'm an endoscopy nurse in King Khalid University Hospital. And I took up palliative care nursing in Niagara College, Welland campus.
Okay. Gaano ka katagal sa Saudi, Bernard, if I may ask?
8 years, ma'am.
8 years.
8 years sa Riyadh.
Sa Riyadh. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Let's see. Yung Sarky and Aileen. Sorry, kausap po dito si Sarky sa baba. Pero nahihiya siyang join. And then, Jen, can you give us a brief background as well?
Hi, everyone. I'm Jennifer Aban. I'm 32 years old. I moved here in Canada with my family. So I have 2 kids. Last August 5, 2022. Actually, parehas kami nila, Norms. So I just finished my palliative care program in Niagara College. I worked in Saudi Arabia for 5 years then sa Riyadh, sa Prince Sultan Military Medical City. And yun, currently working sa Niagara Health as RN.
Okay, thank you. And sige, mamaya magtatanungin ako sa inyong tatlo. Norms, it's your turn.
Hi, I'm Norma Marie Lego, and I'm 28 years old, turning 29. And I came here in Canada last year, August 5. I worked before as a nurse in Qatar for almost 5 years. And I took palliative care program also in Niagara College, and now I'm working as an RN under Niagara Health System. Yeah.
Thank you. So si Norms ang pinakabatang-bata sa atin. Ay, hindi si Bernard. Joke lang. Bernard, did you
Iangat
ano, batang-bata ka pa. Bernard, nung pumunta ka ba dito, kasama mo din yung family mo? Or is it just you?
Hindi ma'am, ako lang straight ako from Saudi to here,
Oh.
kasi mayroong, other circumstances na di ko sila puwedeng isama.
Okay, it's okay. Maybe later on, like if you can share that to
Hmm,
me, I can maybe help you out. I
okey.
would love to help you out. All right, just to give you a brief background, guys, why I wanted to feature them today is to give an inspiration kasi ganito yung scenario. They came here with their background. So they are nurses, OFW nurses. Um, they are registered nurses in the Philippines. They went abroad. And then they decided to come to Canada as an international student. They took 1 year program, and you know what's so amazing is that all of them are now registered nurses, and Bernard is an RPN.
Yes.
Norms and Jen, they're registered nurses. Bernard is RPN. Later on, we will discuss as to the reason why Bernard got an RPN assessment by NNAS, and why Norms and Jen got the RN assessment. I mean, why they were able to get RN, and Bernard why he was able to get RPN later on. But what amazed me is that nung nag-uusap kasi kami ni Norms, I was like shocked kasi she's not yet a graduate, and yet nakuha niya na yung license niya, di ba? And we all know that there is now a certain pathway for nurses, Filipino nurses, not only Filipino nurses, but we're focusing with Filipinos, of course, diba? So there is a certain pathway for Filipino nurses wherein they no longer need NNAS, diba? Pero may mga certain provinces lang yon. But what we would want to reiterate is the advantage of coming here as an international student. Of course, mas advantage pa rin naman talaga na makapunta ka dito direct and practice your profession right away, di ba? Kasi you don't have to spend a lot of money studying. But then again, there is also an advantage of coming here as an international student. And to point one out is, kapag pumasok ka kasi dito as an international student, aside from getting that Canadian certificate under your belt, additional in your resume, you are building your network right away. And also, at the same time, that is the way that you can get into Canada fast,
Yes.
right? Pinakamabilis na entry for, I mean, pinakamabilis na way for you to come here is to go the study permit pathway. And you know what, may isi-share sila sa inyo later on, which I found out yesterday from Norms, na yung ginastos nila as an international student actually, refund nila. So later on, I would love to share that to you guys. But let's start with, I think I already have an idea kay Norms kasi Norms, what, with the three of you guys, what made you decide to come to Canada as an international student? So maybe we can start with Norms this time.
Ah, kaya ako nag-decide mag-international student sa Canada kasi, yun nga sabi ni Miss Aileen mas mabilis siya, mas mabilis siyang pathway para makapasok ng Canada. And that time kasi nung nag-decide ako pumunta ng Canada is, matatapos na yung contract ko sa Qatar and wala pa akong solid plan after that. And then when I learned about being international student in Canada, mabilis yung process niya. Like, nanguha ako ng LOA September 2021 and then I applied for my visa February 2022 and I got approved May. And then sobrang bilis lang. Natapos kasi yung contract ko sa Qatar ng June. And then after that August, nandito na ako sa Canada. Yun,
Exactly.
yeah. Tapos yun lang, for, uh, pag nasa Middle East ka kasi, hindi madaling maging resident, sobrang tagal. And then, there's no assurance kasi, pag matanda ka na doon, pwede kang ma-lay off. Unlike dito sa Canada, mag-work ka hanggang
Kaya
gusto
mo.
mo, and then you will benefit from the retirement. Tapos yun lang,
Exactly.
long term talaga yung iniisip ko, kaya ako nag-decide na mag-Canada.
I totally agree. And I remember, Norms, yung situation mo before. Actually, mas natagalan pa tayo naghintay sa LOA mo. kaysa sa visa approval mo.
Yeah.
Natatandaan ko yan. Anyways, so thank you, Norms. How about you, Jen? I mean, you mentioned a while ago you came here with your family. How many kids do you have?
I have two kids, ages 6 and 4.
6 and 4.
Yeah. So, nag-decide kaming mag-move dito kasi at first actually this is Canada is my list parang list country na kino-consider namin na lumipat kasi nga at first like akala ko kasi super hirap ng process for RN. So initially we applied in Australia but then pandemic happened, nag-close lahat ng border. And then like we have friends from Saudi, like hinikayat nila kami mag-Canada tayo, ganyan ganyan. So I started researching if paano ba yung process ng pagiging RN dito. At parang sabi ko, kaya ko ba to? Kasi parang ang haba ng process, ganyan. But then yung husband ko, parang mas nangibabaw yung mga anak namin, which is malapit na kasi sila ng school age that time. So gusto namin, before sana mag-school age sila is nakasettle na kami sa dito. And yun nga. So parang na-amaze kami kasi smooth lang lahat yung naging process, like ang bilis ng approval. I got an LOA din. Tapos yung process ng NNAS, parang napabilis pa. So yun yung mga greatest, ang pinaka main reason ko talaga is yung mga anak ko, yung family namin, kung saan kami magsisettle down. So yun
Yeah.
talaga yung greatest motivation ko kung ba't nag-move kami dito sa Canada.
Okay, thank you so much, Jen. And yes, of course, actually, di ba alam naman, lagi ko tong binabanggit. It is ideal for is if you're gonna be comparing yung buhay ninyo sa Saudi or anywhere sa outside Canada and the quality of your life here in Canada with your family, especially with your children, it's masyadong malayo, right?
Yeah.
Sobrang iba kasi, 'di ba dito, Jen, if you will agree with me, family-oriented, 'di ba?
Yes.
So, yung mall sarado dito ng 9 p.m. Pagka weekend, sarado ng 7 p.m. Kasi dapat nag-spend time ka ng family. And most of the time dito kapag holidays, makikita mo nasa park lang yan or after school, nasa park ang mga tao with their children. So that's how it is in Canada. And the big plus here is that free ang education ng mga bata, ng mga anak ninyo hanggang K-12, right,
Yeah.
Jen?
Like
And
wala
then,
kaming gastos. Uniform lang siguro, the rest
oo,
libre. So
exactly.
amazing.
True. And then if meron kayong health, of course dito sa Canada, universal healthcare system tayo. Ang sasabihin ng mga iba, kasi naging argument na to before. Dyan ang taas-taas naman ng tax ninyo, kaya dapat lang na libre, bla bla bla. Dito, mas mataas ang sahod namin kasi wala kaming binabayaran ng tax. Tapos, libre din naman yung education ng mga anak namin, libre, covered din sila ng insurance. But the thing here is that, siguro yung stability, di ba, Jen, na pagtanda mo, at pagtanda ng mga anak mo, the future that they have, the opportunities that they can have here in Canada is not something that can be offered kasi temporary resident lang kayo sa South. Di
Yeah.
ba? Oo, tama, di ba?
At isa pa
Nakakatawa.
lang, parang na-appreciate namin although mataas yung tax kasi you'll never know what will happen. Like we have friends na suddenly parang they needed a medical treatment. Yung parang andyan siya, yung parang may peace of mind ka na whatever happens, covered ka ng healthcare system.
Exactly. We know some people as well, yung mga na-diagnose ng cancer, na-diagnose ng ng yung sa heart, libre yan if
Yeah.
meron kayong healthcare insurance, which is actually offered to everyone here in Canada na may trabaho. So may you be a permanent resident, a Canadian citizen, or a temporary resident like us pala, we are all covered by the universal healthcare system of Canada. Yes, we pay high taxes, but yung peace of mind that whatever happens, we are covered is there. So that's not something that nababayaran ng ibang pera, di ba?
Yes.
Let's go to Bernard. Bernard, kasi alam ko si Norms nandito, si Clyde, yung partner niya. Si Bernard, so alone ka dito ngayon. What made you decide to come?
Ah, galing kasi ako ng kuwan ano, family of OFW. Sa uncle, sa mother, father. So, nung kuwan, nung time na yun, pumunta ako ng Saudi, naging OFW din ako. And I didn't know na nabuntis pala yung asawa ko nung umalis ako. We've been together for 8 years bago kami nagpakasal. And then, uh, nagkaroon kami ng anak, babae. So, every year, umuwi ako from Saudi to Philippines. And then, mahirap kasi yung makita mo yung anak mo na iiyak sa airport. So, I made the decision na I have to go to Canada. I have to maging isa kami. And tama nga kayo na Canada is a family-oriented place.
Yeah.
Kaya ganun. And sa ako naman, sa pagpunta ko dito, it's very smooth. Nakakuha rin ako ng LOA ko by March. And nag-process na ako ng papers ko noon April. And then by June, I got na yung visa. And September, nandito na rin ako.
Bilis. Alam mo, siguro look forward natin, Bernard, yung ano, yung makuha mo naman yung asawa mo at yung anak mo dito. Sabi ko nga, if you need an assistance, if you need an advice, just later on you can message me. Maybe I can help out. Kasi I came here, LDR din kami. So, ang ano kasi Canada is no more LDR. Dapat
Yeah.
ganun yung number
Mm,
one rule, di ba? Karamihan ng mga OFW, one of the reason na pumupunta sila dito is because they don't want to be away from their family
mm,
anymore. And coming here as an international student, we all know that Canada allows us to include our family in our application, in our study visa application. So, that's one of the reason why. And kami ni Sarky noon, LDR din kami kasi nasa Saudi din siya before. Siguro, that is also part of the reason aside from, of course, mas stable ang buhay, ang family life. Kasi hindi mo alam pag LDR kayo, away-away. Di ba? Mga
mm.
ganyang mga factor. Tsaka, alam naman natin ang Saudi, charat. Alam naman natin ang mga pangyayari dyan sa mga Saudi mga yan, diba? So we will never know. So, di ba, we always go back to family. Families are very important, the most important part of our life apart from God. So we make sure that we focus on what's important, right? So Bernard, yun lang naman. Thank you so much. So nabanggit nyo a while ago that everything was so smooth. Kasi actually, the reason why a lot of nurses outside of Canada, Filipino nurses, they prefer UK or US over Canada for the reason that it's easier for them to practice their profession right away compared to Canada because they have this notion that it's harder to get yourself registered here in Canada. It's harder to practice your profession here in Canada. While if they go to the US, if they go to the UK, punta sila doon, mag-worker agad sila, right? And they don't have to spend money on tuition anymore, right? They just have to find an employer. And we all know that the nursing profession is in demand all over the world. They can do that. So, why, like, I know you guys mentioned na parang si Jen, sabi niya, hindi Canada yung unang-unang nasa isip niya kasi nga because she thought that the process would be tedious and lengthy. Pero you three are the living proof that it's not the case anymore, right? Maybe you can share like siguro we can start with Norms. How were you able? It's
Sorry,
narinig sa Canada. Anong meron dyan?
may nag-ano ng damo.
Ay, nag-ano. Don't worry, hindi namin naririnig. Oy, Mila Torre, congratulations daw, Norm, sabi niya. Tapos si Jeneline Bayakbak Bernardo. Wait, let me just put them here. Ayan, si Mila Torre. Mukhang supporter mo to, Norms.
Classmate
Tapos,
in college.
classmate mo. Nasaan siya ngayon?
Sa Germany po.
Germany.
Yeah.
Hi! Dalaw ka sa amin dito sa Canada. And then we also have Jeneline Bayokbok Bernardo. Congratulations, RNs. Ayan. So, tapos, may question dito which I would want to answer later on. But I would want Norms, Bernard, and Jen to share their experience through the NNAS process first so you guys get an idea. But this one I would want to answer later on as to the reason why all three of them chose Ontario. And then we can go back to this question. So, NNAS process. Ano yung mga kinailangan yung documents? Kailan nyo siya prinases? Kailan nyo siya nakuha na result? How much yung binayaran ninyo? Yung mga ganon. So, we can start with norms.
Okay po. Yung NNAS ko, pre-process ko siya right after ma-approve yung visa ko for student permit, for student here.
So, nasa Pilipinas ka pa noon? Kasi di ba umuwi ka na noon?
Hindi po, na-approve kasi ako May 20,
Okay.
2022, and then June 15 kasi uuwi na ako ng Pinas. So, after ko talaga ma-approve, like, na-approve ako ng May 26, nag-open ako ng NNAS ko while nasa Qatar pa ako. Kasi ayoko umalis ng Qatar nang hindi ko nakukuha lahat ng requirements ko. Kasi mahihirapan na ako, like yung verification of license. That time kasi nung nagbabasa ako sa mga groups, sabi nila mahirap mag-verify ng license kapag nasa Middle East ka. But for me, like before ako umalis ng Qatar, June 15, na okay na yung lahat ng requirements ko sa Qatar, including from my employers. So, yun yung advantage ng pag-process ng maaga kasi nag-start ako May 26, tapos medyo tinamad pa ako nun. Kaya nakompleto ko yung requirements ko ng July pa. Kasi syempre umuwi ako ng Pinas ng June 15. Tapos, syempre nagpahinga muna ako saglit. Before ko pre-process yung mga requirements ko sa PRC. And then, na-complete ko yung documents ko, July 2 na siya. And then, sabi nila sobrang tagal ng NNAS, but for me, October meron na ako agad report ng NNAS ko.
3 months?
3 months lang po. But, yeah, mabilis lang. Actually, kay Miss Jen, mas mabilis yung kanya. Pero sa akin, 3 months siya. Tapos, ang result kasi ng NNAS ko is comparable ako sa education ng Canada. So, and then, when I ported my result sa NNAS to CNO, CNO gave me the eligibility to take the NCLEX Canada. So, pero October ko na-receive yung eligibility ko since nahihirapan ako noon that time na mag-review for NCLEX, mag-work, tsaka mag-study. I gave time for myself to review na NCLEX. Kaya, in-schedule ko yung NCLEX ko January pa ata. And then, ang maganda kasi for NCLEX Canada, once i-take mo siya ngayon, bukas may result ka na, bukas, kung pumasa ka, bukas may license ka na. So, ganun yung nangyari sa akin. It depends pala kung yun na lang ang kulang mo, kung nursing registration na lang ang kulang mo sa CNO. So, ang nangyari sa akin, well, hinihintay ko yung date na NCLEX ko, kinocomplete ko naman yung requirements ko sa CNO. And then, hindi ako nag-IELTS to get my license here in Canada. What I did was, before I got my license, when I came here in Canada, like, before mag-start yung school, I already secured a job. I worked as a personal support worker. So, I just talked with my employer that time who signed the form for the language proficiency, and pinirmahan naman nila, and they send the language proficiency form to CNO. That's why I met my language requirements. So, yun yung maganda kapag nag-work ka din sa healthcare, kahit PSW ka, hindi mo need mag-IELTS para ma-meet yung yung language requirements ni CNO. Tapos yun, after ko mag-NCLEX, kinabukasan, since NCLEX na lang hinihintay ko, kinabukasan, nakuha ko na yung license. Kasi ano yun,
Mm.
pag mag-exam ka sa NCLEX Canada, kinabukasan 4 AM meron na siyang result. Mag-i-email si CNO sa'yo, parang gano'n. Tas gano'n siya kabilis sa'kin tapos so lucky ko lang talaga kasi naabutan kami nung yung work unlimited hours.
Yes.
So I was
Yung ano,
I was able to apply, and then kahit nag-aaral ako, I'm working full-time. Mabait lang din yung manager ko kasi siya yung nag-adjust sa schedule ko sa school para sa orientation ko kaya I was able to work full-time na kahit nag-i-study pa kami. As yun. Yun lang po.
okay. Thank you, Norms. Okay, just to let you know, guys. First off, CNO is College of Nurses in Ontario. So that's where all the registered nurses report here in Canada. I mean, specifically in Ontario. And also, what Norms is talking about, why she was able to work full time. Because as we all know, we are restricted to 20 hours per week na work lang as an international student. But there is a temporary policy wherein students who applied October 7th of last year who applied for their study permit or who got an approval, they're eligible to work full time until December
2023.
2024. 2023. Ay,
2023.
mag-end na pala siya this year. So that's a temporary policy. I'm pretty sure it's not going to happen anymore. But, a lot of things can happen.
Mm.
Um, so that's 3 months for you, Norms. And then after you got your NNAS, you submitted that to CNO. And instead of getting your IELTS, you took just a language proficiency certification from your employer. So that's applicable for everyone pala, so long as you're working in the healthcare industry as well.
Mm.
Okay, that's good to hear. Um, Later on maybe we can go through the requirements that you guys submitted. How about for you, Jen? How long did it took for, I mean, when did you start your NS application? How long did it took for you to get the result? And then what are the process that you have to go through for you to be able to get your license here in Canada?
So ako naman, ma'am, parang kasi I stopped working in Saudi Arabia April 2020. So housewife ako from 2020 until coming here to Canada. So nag-research ako kung paano ko ba mapapabilis yung process. So what I did is nag-apply ako sa New York just to have that eligibility to take the exam for NCLEX. So parang it took me like 5 months para ma-process lahat yung sa New York NCLEX alone. So just in time lang kasi I got my eligibility June. Sakto pa-exit kami ng Saudi Arabia like July. So may time pa ako para mag-exam sa Pinas sana. And then I started my NNAS May kasi gusto ko masettle ko lahat kasi parang iniisip ko sino uutusan ko para mag-ayos ng papers, ganyan. So lahat I made sure na na-submit ko na lahat before pa kami mag-exit. And then, yun nga, supposed to be magte-take ako ng NCLEX sa Pinas pero may emergency na medical something kaya hindi natuloy yung NCLEX ko that time. So I rebooked my NCLEX exam here na sa Canada. So parang ang goal ko kasi noon is sana makapag-exam ako before mag-start yung pasukan namin kasi feeling ko maluloka na ako kasi may 2 kids ako. Tapos parang ang hirap pang i-balance. So luckily, nakakuha ako ng appointment before the start of fall intake. So nag-exam ako and luckily nakapasa naman ako on my first take. So yun na lang, nasa waiting process na lang ako that time ng NNAS tapos yung release ng license ko sa New York. So, na-shock ako kasi parang October, may result na yung NNAS ko. So, parang May, June, July, August, parang 4 months ato or less than 4 months, may report na yung NNAS ko. So, sinimulan ko na yung lahat ng steps sa CNO na i-gather lahat ng documents. So, na-met ko naman lahat except yung language. So, what I did kasi nag-a-apply ako ng PSW that time. Hindi ako natatanggap. Ewan ko ba kung bakit. So, may mabait naman na director of care. Parang nag-duty ako ng like for 1 day. Pinoy kasi, so pinakisuyuan ko na lang kung pwedeng i-submit niya yung form ko. So, bait naman niya, sinubmit niya. Parang after 2 or 3 days na met yung language ko. And then by November 15, I officially got my RN license. And then I started applying na sa hospital as part-time kasi meron pa kaming next intake, which is yung winter. So, ginrab ko muna yung part-time. So, while January, I started working as part-time RN sa Niagara Health. And then, before pa matapos yung program namin, I made sure na naka-apply na ako ng full-time. So, I got a full-time offer prior pa mag-end yung school namin. So, parang yun yung advantage na ginrab ko yung part-time kasi parang naging priority nila ako kasi naka-accumulate na ako ng hours. And yun, parang smooth lang din siya talaga. Siguro yun din yung rason kung bakit hindi ako natatanggap na PSW kasi sabi siguro ni Lord, mag-RN ka na, wag ka na.
RN ka, pang RN ka
Oo,
daw.
nurse ka talaga, Ma'am Jen.
Oo,
Nurse Jen.
true. So, ang bait lang talaga ni Lord.
Mm. At saka there's always a reason for everything. Every
Yeah.
disappointment, every bump in the road, most probably, and most assuredly, may reason yan and much better yung mangyayari. Kasi it happened to me a lot of times, so I truly believe in that. Pero ano, Jen, kasi nakwento kanina sa akin ni Norms, yung una daw na nakuha mong NNAS result is non-comparable.
Yeah.
And
Actually,
then, what happened? Oh,
non-comparable. Expected ko na yun kasi graduate ako ng 2011. So, dinirect, whatever the result, dinirect ko na siya sa CNO kasi kampante na ako kasi may NCLEX ako, which is may bago kasing policy that time ang CNO na once you have an NCLEX, I'm not so sure kung ano yung date na ina-accept nila ng NCLEX, pero mawi-waive na yung education mo. So, yun nga, na-waive na yung education ko. Tapos, ano pa ba yung isa?
Registration.
Oh, yun yung registration. So, sabay siyang na-met gawa nung NCLEX ko from New York. So, yun yung nagpadali ng process ko din.
okay. So may advantage talaga when you're gonna be getting, I mean, if you will be getting your license here in Canada. And kasi, hindi, tapusin ko muna kay Bernard later on bago ko i-share lang yung napag-usapan natin kanina. So right now, si Jen, she's already an RN, working full-time na rin, no, sa Sanayag Health. How about you, Norms? Full-time ka na din sa Sanayag Health?
Ah,
Okay.
full
Pati
time.
naman tayo kay Kuya Bernard. Si Kuya Bernard actually yun. Medyo interesting to kay Kuya Bernard eh. So, how when did you process your NNAS? How long till you get the result? Tapos ano yung naging result?
Dumating ako dito sa Canada, Ma'am, ng September. Nag-resign kasi ako sa Saudi ng September 4, and then September 5, dumating ako ng Canada. September 6, pasok na sa school.
Oh my God.
Ganyan nangyari. And then, during September to December, nag-a-allocate na ako ng mga documents ko for NNAS. And then, yun nga, ah, nag- doon ko nakilala sa school si Ate Norms at si Ate Jen. Yung tinutulungan nila ako on how to, kung share nila sa akin yung idea on how they process their NNAS. And then, natapos ko lahat yung documents ko by January 4. And then, uh, March, lumabas na yung result.
Bilis
Lumabas na
talaga,
result.
no?
Mm. Tapos nun, nag-apply na ako for ang ang result ng NNS ko is non-comparable sa RN, comparable sa RPN. Kasi ang dating ang plan ko is straight lang sa RN. And then with the help of my two sisters here, sir, sabi nila, ilagay mo na yung RPN para ako hitting two birds with one stone, ganun. So I tried it. Kaya yun, ang sabi nila sa akin is, kasi graduate ako ng nurse pagiging sa Baguio 2008.
Saan sa
So,
Baguio?
University of Baguio.
Oh, okay.
And then, dun nga kasi meron pala silang inad na ibang curriculum after namin graduate ng
Yep,
2008. Kaya
yep.
ganun hindi ako naging comparable for RN. So I took the chance for RPN, and April, nag-exam ako after ng final exam namin nila Ma'am Norms. Dumiretso ako agad ng Toronto to take ng exam ko for RPN. And then luckily, I passed.
That's good.
Tapos ang result talaga ng ko dito sa Canada is paggising mo ng umaga, pagdating ko dito after the exam, may result na siya. Mabilis lang.
Mabilis lang. And dapat lang 'no, kasi kailangan nila ng nurse, kailangan mabilisan din ang proseso nila, 'di ba? Just to share, it took me how long, how many hours sa emergency, and kasi they badly need nurses here in Canada. Across Canada, they badly need nurses. That's why they are completely like hiring a lot of people. Kaya hindi nawawalan ng trabaho dito ang mga nurses. But just for people like me who does not know the difference between, like you mentioned a while ago, there is like when you applied for your NNAS, you went for RN and RPN, while Norms and Jen just went for RN. What's the difference between the two?
Nothing.
Wala.
Yung license lang po magkaiba
Mm.
and
Mhm.
siguro yung acuity ng
Yung scope of
patient.
practice
Scope of
minsan
practice.
parang limited siya for RPN kasi, dito kasi ma'am yung RPN usually they just finish two
2 years.
years diploma I guess.
Mm-mm.
So, unlike sa RN na mas, higher yung scope nila when it comes to work.
Bachelor's degree kasi dito yung nursing.
Yeah.
Well, for RPN, it's only like diploma for them.
Mm.
Okay. So, I mean, just saying na parang, so ang next step ni Bernard would be to get the RN,
Yeah.
right? So,
Mm.
RPN, RN. Or meron pang ibang stage, may ibang level pa ba?
Yun na po yun next. But ang
Yes,
maganda po dun kasi RPN is also under healthcare and OCB din po siya.
Registered.
exactly. So, for
Yeah.
the PR pathway.
Yeah.
Okay, just to reiterate, guys, for those who are watching and why Bernard and Jen didn't get the same result for their NNNS as norms is because of the age. Charot, hindi sa age. Pero yeah,
Papunta na dun, eh.
oo, patanders tayo eh. Bata pa si Norms eh. Aminin na natin yan. Wala tayong magagawa dyan. Di ba, Bernard?
Ma'am, hanggang young at heart
Oo,
lang tayo.
young
Fresh
at heart
fresh
tayo. Eh ano
voices.
natin si Norms sa young. Basta kami young looking and young at heart. Period. Hindi, kasi with NNAS, anyone na may nag-graduate, kasi yung curriculum, nagbago siya, 2014. So, naging comparable kasi sa Canadian education, yung Philippine Curriculum of Nurses, nung nangyari yun noong 2014, nag-revamp, di ba, inayos nila para maging competitive tayo globally. So, kasi during that time, nung panahon ni Kuya Bernard, at saka ni Ate Jen, old curriculum pa tayo and we don't follow the global standard of Canada, US, UK. So iba, may mga programs na hindi na i-offer sa Philippines. So it changed 2014 kaya nakakuha ka agad ng comparable results si Norms compared kay Jen at kay Bernard. So ang nag-push naman sa application ni Jen as to getting that comparable result is because of her NCLEX, 'di ba? NCLEX na US. So, yun na lang yung next step. Ay, si Bernard, siguro for you to get the RN na lang, yung hours na lang naman ang kailangan mo, di ba? Or do you still have to get NCLEX pa?
I have to take NCLEX, ma'am.
Oh, I have a
I have to.
question. So, you mentioned kanina NCLEX Canada and then NCLEX US. So, if you are here in Canada, what do you think is mas advantage for nurses or aspiring nurses to come here to take? Would it be the Canada or the US NCLEX? And what's the
Si N
difference?
si NCLEX Canada po kasi hindi mo makukuha yung eligibility hangga't hindi ka comparable kay NNAS.
Yeah.
So, kailangan mo talagang dumaan sa NNAS para makuha mo yung eligibility to take NCLEX Canada. Well,
Okay. But
for
that is being recognized naman.
mm,
Sorry, go ahead.
while
Pero,
NCLEX US,
oo.
pwede mo siyang kunin habang nasa Pinas ka ata. Parang ganun ba, Ma'am Jan?
Oo.
Oh.
Sige,
Pero
mag-take
pareho
na
lang
lang.
sila.
Same
Pero
lang actually, same lang ng type of exam. Tas same lang kasi ang nagfa-facilitate ng exam which is yung person view. So ang main
mm.
difference lang talaga is yung place kung saan
Tsaka
ka.
eligibility kung paano mo siya kukunin.
So parehong-pareho lang din naman sila. So for the people watching us right now who's interested to take the NCLEX to boost pa rin yung ano nila higher chance of getting a comparable result, it's better to take the NCLEX. And the NCLEX US is the most accessible one since they don't have to have the certification here in Canada, 'di ba? To be able to get that. Tama.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. That is very enlightening. I have, I'm not sure. Can you give us like an idea lang? Kasi I know you guys are already graduate, you already applied for your PGWP, and there's a very high chance of you getting your PR if before end of this year. Kasi may announcement si Canada just this month, diba, of the targeted occupation. And healthcare is always targeted, and they're always getting they're always getting people on the healthcare industry. So palagi kayong talagang yung nadodraw, paulit-ulit yan. So nakikita ko talaga yung chance niya for PR right away. But if we're gonna be thinking of salary, how much are we looking at when you got your licenses? Like you don't have to give me the exact amount, but like the range, like how much since guys hindi pa sila nakakapag-render ng parang wala pa silang 1 year na nag-work as regular employee, 'di ba? Since kaka-graduate niyo lang. But maybe you can give us an idea on the range of salary you guys are getting right now.
Dito kasi ma'am is nagbe-base kasi sila sa hourly rate depende sa experience. And what's nice kasi even yung experience mo outside Canada, they honor it. So nag-a-add siya sa level mo. So parang yung pinaka-latest kasi it's like 30 from 34 pa noon,
45 na siya.
34 to 50.
Parang
I
ganun.
guess is the ceiling.
Mm-mm.
Parang 50.85 yung ceiling nila. Ang maganda kasi dito sa Ontario, like kung naka-union kasi ang RNs and RPN. So all over across Ontario, meron kaming pay scale. Isa lang talaga siya, applicable siya sa lahat ng hospital. I'm not sure, pero kung under ng Ontario Nurses Association yung which is yung union namin, kung under ng ONA yung hospital, applicable sa inyo yung pay scale. Alam ko some of long-term cares din, under din sila ng ONA, yun yung union namin. Iisa lang talaga yung pinagbe-basean ng sahod, which is kung new graduate ka, zero experience, nasa 34 or going 35 yung salary mo. And then, if 8 years and above ka na ngayon, nasa 50.85 na. So, makikita
Hourly.
naman sa internet yung pay scale ng ONA. Tapos mag-base na lang sila doon kung ilang years.
Oo, kaya mayayaman ang mga Filipino nurses dito, eh. Sila yung nakakabili ng mga bahay dito tsaka yung mga Tesla na sasakyan, eh. Pansin ko lang. Anyways, we forgot to mention the requirements that you guys submitted for your NNAS. Kasi you mentioned na parang si Norms, even Jen, you guys applied for your NNA. I mean, si Norms specifically, she's applied for NNAS before siya nag-exit sa saan sa Qatar, 'di ba?
Naka-target.
Kasi 'di ba may mga kailangan kang documents from your employer and sometimes it's harder to secure those documents if you're outside of Qatar now or outside of Saudi. Is that the same with you, Jen and Bernard? Ay, hindi, si Bernard, approval, lipad, pasok. Parang ganun yung nangyari kay Bernard, eh, di ba? Parang biglaan tayo, magulatan tayo. So, ano yung mga requirements and why do you think it's more of an advantage for people to process it before coming here? So let's start with the requirements.
So ako, yung requirements ko kasi sa NNAS is sa Saudi muna, yung employment, tapos yung Saudi Council Verification of License. So dalawa lang yon na sinubmit ko sa NNAS. Apart from that, meron din ako sinubmit sa Philippines kasi kailangan mo ding i-declare yung license mo sa home country. So sa PRC, nag-submit din ako. And then my previous, my employment din kasi ako sa Pinas dati, sinubmit ko din yon. Tapos, ano pa ba? Ano pa ba yung mga sinabit natin?
Yung
Yung
sa employment, Jen, ano yung hinihingi nila sa previous employers mo? Employment letter with the hours that you've rendered?
Actually, hindi na may specific form kasi ang NNAS. It's
Oh.
not indicated to have an accompanied document which is yung COE with job hours. But sinubmit ko na lang just to make sure na ayoko na kasi yung mag-email sila ng additional requirement. So, sinubmit ko na lang lahat ng supporting documents para to avoid any delays in the processing. So, lahat ng forms ng NNAS na nire-require nila sa lahat ng regulatory body as well as sa employer ko, sinamahan ko na siya ng mga supporting documents just to make sure. Which is, yun yung
So,
sinasuggest ko sa kanila.
So when we say aside from the forms na makukuha nila sa NNAS, kasi yun yung kailangan papirmahan mo sa mga previous employers mo. So lahat ng nag-render ka ng hours practicing the nursing profession, you have to submit the NNAS forms. And aside from that, nag-attach pa si Jen ng supporting documents like your employment letter, and maybe did you also attach your payslips possibly? No,
Din.
Payslips na.
di na.
Yung
So just the
COE.
employment letter. Oo. Oh, okay. So, that would be the verification of license. So that's the form na kailangan ninyo na sa mga employer. Am
Yes.
I getting it right? And then just the employment letter. Okay. Pero sa ano, yung sa Pilipinas, same din. Ganon din yung kailangan nyo.
Same lang din, ma'am.
Sa TRC.
Matagal na kasi yung employment ko before. So, kung ano lang yung lumang COE ko, hindi na ako humingi ng bago. So, sinubmit ko na lang kung ano yung available ako on hand. Tapos, yun sa PRC, meron kasi silang sariling form din for verification ba yun na nuns?
At saka sa NNAS kasi hindi allowed na yung applicant yung mag-send sa NNAS. So, for example, magre-request ka ng documents sa company mo, pwede nilang ibigay sa'yo yung documents, tapos nandun na din yung forms, tapos ilagay mo yung job description mo, pero isi-send mo siya sa NNAS, naka-address siya sa employer mo. Hindi pwedeng sa name mo. Parang saan ba yung
Direct.
Sa West, sa
parang sa
ECA,
West,
no?
para siyang gano'n. Hindi
Oo.
puwedeng yung applicant naka-name sa applicant, dapat naka-name siya sa employer mo.
Oo.
Tapos
Sa
sa PRC
employer,
ay, oo, from employer siya to NNAS.
NAS. So parang processing din ng ECA natin.
Mm. Pero kasi yung PRC, may sarili sila na yung bahala dun, eh. Or kung ibigay man sa'yo ng PRC yung documents mo, naka-sealed kasi yun 'pag binigay na sa'yo ng PRC, puwede mong i-send din sa NNAS pero dapat naka-name siya sa PRC, hindi sa'yo.
Mm.
Tapos meron
So,
din identity documents,
Oh, yun.
dapat naka-notarize siya. Like for me, ang sinubmit ko is passport and PRC license ko. Pinanotarize ko lang siya sa kahit sinong
Lawyer.
lawyer sa Philippines. Tapos sinend
mga
ko siya.
nasa daan-daan.
Tapos in-accept naman siya ni si NNAS naman kasi may handbook siya kung
Mm-mm.
masipag kang magbasa. Pwede mong basahin para wala kang ma-miss out.
Mm-mm. Correct. So, yung passport mo and PRC license mo, like pina-photocopy mo and
Photocopy
pinanotarize
ko.
mo.
Yes.
Okay, alright.
Tapos pinanood.
Identity documents. Kay PRC naman, ano yun? Kunwari, punta ka kay PRC, dala mo yung NNAS form, and then bahala na sila magpadala kay NNAS, or bibigay na lang nila sa yung sealed document, tapos bahala na sila. Pero you have to have the form and give it to PRC pa for the request.
Alam ko sa PRC, kailangan mo manguha ng Certificate of Good Standing. Tapos
Mm-mm.
mag-set ka ng appointment sa
Schedule.
kanila. Tapos kung ano yung na-book mo appointment, punta ka lang doon. Tapos alam na nila yun kapag NNAS, PNO. Kasi merong mga nakapost sa PRC like mga requirements nila to process the state verification. So, ibigay mo lang yung form ng NNAS, tapos ipapakita nila sa'yo kung tama yung mga information. Tapos ipiprint na nila, tapos ilalagay nila sa envelope. Kung puwedeng
So,
silang magpadala or puwedeng ikaw. Yung akin
mm-mm.
kasi ako yung nagpadala.
Yeah.
Okay naman, basta naka-seal naman tatanggapin naman ni
Naka-seal siya.
NNAS, yun, 'di ba? Pero so you have to get the certification of good standing prior to getting the PRC verification, is
Opo.
that right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Eh, paano yung
Mabilis
mga
lang din naman po. Parang ibo-book mo lang siya sa
Online.
online. Tapos
oh,
bibigay
they're just gonna verify, okay. Eh, bibigay lang nila yon online din?
puwedeng same day ng binook mo for state verification tsaka yung good standing. Puwede mo siyang
Hmm.
i-process both, same day.
Same day. But you guys processed this when you were back in the Philippines pa. How about
Yes.
Bernard na biglang lipad, biglang pasok agad siya? How are you able to process everything on your end, Bernard?
Yun sa kwan ma'am, sa PRC kasi, um, hindi sila tumatanggap ng e-signature sa forms.
Mm-mm.
So, ang kwan ko is, minail ko siya sa courier. Tapos yung asawa ko na yung kwan, asawa ko na yung siya na yung nagpasa dun sa PRC. Basta pag
Oh.
basta pag pina-courier mo, pinirmahan mo na, nilagay mo na yung mga dapat mong isulat, pwede na, tinatanggap naman nila yan. Kasi
Oh.
sabi nung asawa ko, ma'am, kasi igaganon nila yung papel kung pirmado ba o kwan, or
Diinan mo yung
na-print lang.
pirma mo, sabi niya.
Ah,
Well, yon. So, with that being said, siguro for us, those people who are watching us right now and would want to come here and get their license as well, it would be best for you to process all those documents kapag nasa Pilipinas pa kayo.
tama. Yeah.
Yung PRC or kunwari OFW kayo, kunin niyo muna yung employment verification ninyo, tapos kunin niyo muna yung mga PRC, yung good standing ninyo and PRC verification. Habang nasa Pilipinas pa kayo,
Mhm.
process your NNAS while you're still there. Don't wait for you to get here before processing your NNAS. Kasi it's, alam niyo yung ano dun is, getting it out of the way na. Because there will be more obstacles that you will be facing when you come here. So yung adjustment, finding a job, finding schools for your kids, finding a house, paano pagkakasyahin yung sahod ko dahil ito lang ngayon, hindi pa ako registered nurse, diba? Yung mga ganon. So, magkalayo kasi yung makukuha mong salary as PSW compared to being a registered nurse here. So, kaya dapat advisable for every one of you guys who would want to come here is to process your NS right away. Para kapag wala na yan, focus na kayo sa studies, diba? Sa work, am I right? Yung mga ganun. And getting salary of not less than $35 per hour for starters is a good way to start, right? It's not too bad. Pero you can get more depending on the experience that you have back home or back to like kung sa OFW ka man, mga ganon, diba? So that's good news. So those are the only documents that you guys needed, yung verification of license, PRC verification, passport, PRC license authorized, and CLEX if applicable. Yun lang naman so
Meron pa
far.
pala ma'am yung sa school,
Ah,
kailangan detailed yung TO transcript, tapos yung RLE, and then basta actually majority of the schools naman alam na nila yon. Just to tell them na concise dapat yung syllabus na ibibigay para mag-comparable sila if graduate man sila ng 2014 and above.
Mm-mm.
Like for
So
me,
when we
yung
sorry, go
syllabus
ahead.
ko ata, sa akin na pina-print ng school ko kasi parang 200 or 300 pages yung syllabus ko.
Oh
So,
wow.
yun kasi yung pinaka-important kung
Mm-mm.
naglo-look forward ka na
Compare.
comparable ka kay Canada is yung syllabus. Naka-indicate kasi doon lahat ng subjects or courses na tinake tinake mo. Yeah. Kahit madami siya, isama mo siya. Kasi same lang naman yung bayad ng DHL.
Yeah.
Pero may tanong ako. When we say concise syllabus, like kasi 'di ba alam naman natin no kunwari first term ito yung subject natin PE. PE talaga. PE, TLE, charot. Anyway, so when we say concise, like for example sa mga um anong tawag yung volunteer ninyo, volunteer hours or yung mga subjects ninyo like na tungkol sa na focusing on the nursing profession, how are we saying that hey it's concise, like ano yung nakalagay doon sa ano niyo sa transcript niyo?
Hindi po siya transcript. Ang hihingiin mo sa school is course syllabus. So, yun yung
Ah,
subject mo from first year to fourth year. Kaya inabot siya sa'kin ng 200 or 300 pages.
okay.
Naka-indicate dun lahat ng course, ng subject, and kung ano yung mga nakaloob sa mga subjects na yun.
Mm,
Kaya
okay.
detailed talaga siya. So, kung hihingi ka ng requirement sa school mo, sabihin mo, transcript, course syllabus. Kasi lahat naman ng school, lahat ng courses, kasi
Hmm.
courses ang tawag nila sa atin, di ba?
Oo, dito
Lahat ng courses, meron yang course syllabus.
syllabus. Oo,
So, hingin mo yung course syllabus, yung transcript, and yung RLE. Tatlo yung
RLE.
sasend mo sa kanila.
Okay. And also your diploma, no?
Hindi na po diploma.
Ay, hindi na kailangan yung diploma.
Hindi.
Oh, okay. Nagte-take note ako. 'Di ba? Para lang ano. So, yon. So, school transcript, tapos course syllabus, tapos yung RLE.
Yung
Yun
RLE.
yung, when we say RLE, yun yung mga ano nyo, voluntary, yung mga hours ninyo sa hospital. Tama ba?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright. Pero Bernard, how about you? Balik talaga ako kay Bernard. Tahimik kasi. Balik tayo ng balik kay Bernard. Kulit-kulitin natin siya. So, how were you able to process that again when you were here? Si wifey lahat? Sa pagkuha
Yes,
ng
ma'am.
transcript mo?
Yes, ma'am. So, kasi nakatira kami sa Pangasinan, so siya pa yung inutusan ko na pumunta ng Baguio para
Oh.
ayusin yung kwan ko, yung sa school for NNAS. And then
Mm,
ang unang bungod niya sa akin, makapal nga daw talaga.
oo.
Makapal tapos
Totoo.
ah, expensive yung pag-send sa courier ng
How much? Just to have an idea, like if you're gonna do that. Aside sa babayaran nyo sa school na ano, syempre babayaran nyo yan kasi malaki-laking ano yan, diba?
Mahal din siya
Magkano,
actually.
mm,
oo, magkano bayad nyo sa ano, kung gano'n
Mas
karami?
mura sa LBC. Kasi
Ay,
mm,
oo.
LBC pwede naman. Kasi expensive kasi yung DHL.
Mm.
Before kasi akala ko DHL, mas sure siya na makakarating. Tapos trinay ko lang naman yung LBC. Nakarating din naman yung LBC. So pagdating sa ECA ko, LBC na lang yung ginamit ko. Kasi parang 1,000 din yung difference ng DHL and LBC.
Mhm.
Kasi 'pag
Oh, ayan
DHL
na.
aabutin ka ng 3,000 or kulang
Totoo.
4,000. While sa
Dahil marami yung documents.
hmm,
Mhm.
Oh.
tapos sa LBC is 2,000, mga gano'n, 2,500, 2,600, parang gano'n,
mm.
yung last na padala ko. Pero 'pag
Oh, okay.
DHL kulang 4,000. Sayang din kasi dalawang
Mm.
documents na yung mapapadala mo.
Siya rin ang
Correct.
pinagsabi sa'kin nung sa LBC. Siya rin nagsabi sa'kin nun
Oh,
kung
'di
saan
ba?
ka
Oo, so
makakatipid.
correct. LBC tayo, wag tayo sa DHL. Charot! Mamaya may nanonood ng mga DHL dyan. So, meron akong question. Siyempre, meron akong question. Pwede ba namang wala? May question ako. Yung tungkol sa, nabanggit to ni Norms eh. Let's focus muna. Kasi, yun nga, marami namang mga nurses that they can come here directly as a temporary foreign worker, di ba? But Norms, Bernard, and Jen opted to come here as an international student kasi mas mabilis siya. Mas mabilis talagang pumasok. They can expose themselves agad-agad sa profession, ano kaagad nila yung sarili dito sa Canada, masasama kaagad nila yung pamilya nila. So if yun yung target ninyo, na mas mabilis makapasok, pwede. Pero how much, just to give them an idea, how much did you pay for your tuition for 1 year?
Like
18
18,
18,000.
18,500, eighteen thousand five
18,000 CAD.
hundred dollars.
Oo, 18,000 Canadian dollars. So, plus yung visa processing fee for a study permit, it's 150, if I'm not mistaken, or 100. If you come here with your spouse, it's gonna be 350 kasi with their open work permit and the work permit, right? Medical, sabihin na natin, pero sa kanila waived ang medical kasi galing sila sa Saudi. So, walang medical yung mga yan.
Pero ano
Pero
Let's
kami,
nag-medical kami.
nag-medical kami kasi hindi
Nag-medical
kami
kami, ma'am.
makaka-work
Mm,
get
kasi
medical.
medical ako.
healthcare.
Correct. Oo. Yan actually yung ina-advice ko naman sa mga estudyante namin na galing ng Dubai, basta galing sa UAE. Na sige, sa application mo, you will not be required of a medical. But for you to get the job here in Canada, you need that medical. So it's
Mm.
up to you if you want to do your upfront medical habang nandiyan ka pa sa UAE or if you want to do it here. Siguro, since familiar ka pa na nasa UAE ka, might as well na gawin mo na sa UAE. It's the same thing. It would be submitted to the IRCC anyways. So let's just say 18,000 Canadian dollars yung binayaran nyo coming here as an international student for a one-year program. Sabihin na natin plus kasi nagbayad kayo ng yung airfare, medical, blah, blah, blah. But meron kasing sinabi sa akin si Norms na parang in a way, yung binayad ninyo to come here as an international student, your tuition and all, parang wala na kayong binayad in the end because of a sign-in bonus. So when you have a license and you're gonna be working and your company offers a sign-in bonus, how much would that be? And is this specifically here in Ontario or specifically from where you're working? Can you give us more detail about that?
Actually shinare lang po ito nung friend ko na nauna siyang mag-international student dito sa Canada, and he told me about it, and I'm not sure kasi yung site na binigay niya sa akin is Health Force Ontario lang siya. So hindi ako sure kung kasama siya sa ibang provinces, and I think it's one way ng Ontario to attract nurses. So they're
Mhm.
giving like $25,000 sign-in bonus, but you like kailangan mo magstay. There are eligibility criteria. If you met that criteria, you'll be able to get that. But there are some hospitals na nag-offer lang nun. So, pwede mong itanong, kunwari na-hire ka, itanong kung pwede ka ba sa program na yon para makuha mo yung sign-in bonus.
Oh. Sign-in bonus of 2022, 21,
25,000. Pero hindi siya
25.
ibibigay sa'yo ng buo, pero at least may pumapasok sa'yo na money. Parang
Exactly.
putol-putol siya hanggang makumpleto mo yung 2 years mo sa company mo, parang gano'n.
Pero not bad, diba? Sumasahod ka na as an RN or RPN. You get to have that sign-in bonus of 25,000 plus meron pa, 'di ba meron pa Norms?
Sa
Um, yung reimbursement
CNO,
na ginamit mo sa CNO, yung ginamit mo, pinambayad mo sa NCLEX, sa medical, even sa NNAS,
sa NNAS po hindi siya kasama.
hindi kasama.
Kung nag-IELTS ka, kasama siya, NCLEX,
Mm,
like yung jurisprudence, nag-exam kasi kami dito ng jurisprudence, parang nasa
mm,
$45 din yon. And yung
mm.
criminal background check, nasa $60 din yan. Ibabalik nila sa'yo. Pero you have to wait kasi medyo matagal yung process, pero at least andun yung nagpa-process siya, hintayin mo na lang na bumalik siya sa'yo.
Okay. Thank you. Well, actually, I'm here in a Health of Ontario, healthforceontario.ca website right now. And you can actually make those reimbursement between August 18, 2022. So it started 2022. And then hanggang ano na lang siya, March 31, 2024. So hanggang next year na lang siya yung mga eligible for reimbursement. So yun yung mga application to CNO, both general and temporary class, yung jurisprudence exam na banggit nga ni Norms yon, yung mga IELTS mo or self-team or whatnot, pati yung ginastos mo for your background check, yung police clearance, registration for the exam, at saka yung CNO initial registration and annual membership fee.
Ayan,
All of those are actually
mahal kasi yung
nare-reimburse.
mahal kasi yung membership. Nasa
O yung
CNO
annual.
parang initial registration mo is 600, tapos annual member ay 300, tapos membership mo 300, so
Run.
total 600 yun. So
Diba?
medyo malaki yun kapag binalik sa'yo. So yun lang
Correct.
na din.
Tama, 'di ba? So that's only until March 21 of next year, guys. So if you really want to finish and be that RN here, alam mo yun, there is no way to start later eh. You just have to start now, 'di ba? If you want. Kasi lalo ngayon, kailangan talaga. Nakita ko lang naman yun. So getting that sign-in bonus of 25,000, that means na bawi mo na yung pinang-aral mo ng more than pa nga sa 1 year. Tapos, aside from that, sumasahod ka na, registered ka na dito. parang win-win situation lahat, no? You get to be with your family, you get to have the life that you want with your family. Bernard, don't worry, that would come soon, trust me. You get to have the permanent residency, the stable life that you want, wherein you get to have your pension for retirement. Kasi most of the OFWs I know who work in Saudi, who work in UAE, those nurses that get high pays, and then they have to go home in the Philippines. The money that they've saved up, the retirement pay that they got from the company will not be enough to last them even 10 years in the Philippines. If you put up a business, there's no 100% guarantee that you're gonna get that business running until the day that, you know, alam mo yun, na to sustain your life na nakasanayan mo sa UAE. To sustain the life na nakasanayan ng mga anak mo kasi kasama mo sila sa UAE. It's really hard. It's harder if you have a child na kino-consider mo na after your retirement, you go back home. Is that gonna be the same life that they're gonna be having in the Philippines? Of course not. It's not going to be the same. They're also going to be an OFW. They are also going to go to Dubai. They're also going to go to Saudi, be nurses there. And then the cycle will go on and on and on with your family, right? So when you want to end that cycle, you go to Canada or you go to UK, you go to US. I'm not just saying Canada because I'm here, but you have to make that change for your children because it's not going to be for you anymore. You will go through a lot of hardship. You will go through a lot of heartaches here. You will encounter a lot of disappointments here in Canada. But what you're working out is not your future. It's not for your future. It's for the future of your kids. In the end, it's their opportunity and your opportunity too. Kasi hindi ka manghihingi ng allowance sa mga anak mo because you have that pension, you have that retirement fund you're looking for. You're saving for that. The government is asking you to save for that, right? Ang haba ng litanya ko, but that's because I truly believe sa Canadian system when it comes to taking care of their people. And na-experience natin yan during COVID, diba? Na lahat ng tao, they don't have a job, but we were given, even temporary residents were given, like, yung mga binibigay nila, walang difference eh. Temporary resident ka man or Canadian citizen ka, they treat you the same. Walang
Yeah.
kakaiba doon. Diba? So,
Saka may nakakatawa pang experience dyan, Miss Aileen, yung parang first few months na nandito kami, like, tinry namin pumunta ng food bank.
ayo,
Ang dami namin nakuha.
kayong tatlo ba yan?
May salmon pa po si Sir Bernard. Isang malaking salmon.
Salmon talaga, Bernard.
Palaging kuha nila.
Talaga.
Yeah.
Sir,
Super
may,
helpful
may,
sila.
meron ka na bang bag na dala ngayon, sir?
Tapos
Ay, so ibig sabihin yung
ma-appreciate.
unang punta mo, Bernard, binigyan ka pa nila ng bag maliban sa pagkain.
Oo, ma'am. May free na ako niya.
Pero po may salmon po talaga siya.
May ganyan kalaking salmon. Filet yun, filet. Filet.
Galing sa food bank?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Mayaman po.
Totoo, samantala sa Pilipinas ang mahal-mahal ng salmon.
True.
Diba? Dito binibigay lang. Wala namang masama dyan. Marami naman tayong international students ang pumupunta sa food bank kasi or else it's gonna go to waste anyway. Diba? So it helps a lot for beginners, for starters. Maraming mga gumagawa niya. May kasama ka ng bigas, may chocolate ka pa. Si Bernard sa siya salmon.
Social.
Sausage.
Tapos
Sausage. Mga
isa
canned
din po kasi,
goods.
sa ma-appreciate mo dito. As a nurse po ha, isa sa mga na-appreciate ko. Dito kasi sa Canada, sobrang polite ng mga people.
Sobra.
Kahit as patients, sobrang appreciative nila. And nung nag-aral kasi kami, palliative care, parang na-emphasize talaga sa amin na dito sa Canada, may anti-racism law.
Yes.
Kaya parang safe ka talaga mag-work. Mafe-feel mo talaga na safe ka sa hospital kasi
Correct.
yung mga tao is very polite.
Tama.
Saan ka
Diba?
mag-good night sa lahat na saan ka.
Ito, wait lang, may kwento ko lang. Kasi dito, yun nga, Canada is well known for their politeness. And yung talagang yung racism, you cannot. Sa mangilang-ilang lugar, yes. Pero the majority of Canada, you cannot feel that you're an outsider here.
Yeah.
Ang mga experiences ko dito is, and nasanay na ako, nung una naiilang ako, yung sa door. Like, they would wait, like, nakita nilang, kahit malayo ka pa, pero nakita nilang papasok ka din sa mall, sa door. Like, they would wait for you. nakabukas lang yung door na parang kailangan takbuhin mo na yung door dahil nakakahiya kasi binuksan nila yung door for you. Mga ganun. Tapos, and makakasanayan mo na you always also do that. Na parang you leave, yung hawakan mo yung door for people to come in before ka papasok. Yung mga ganun na mauuna kapag may mga tao sa likod mo. That's how polite they are. Another thing, like, masasalubong mo everyday, maliban sa good morning, my how are you. Alam nyo na yung how are you talaga, sabi ko, mag-good morning na nga lang, mag-how are you? Sasagutin ko ba yung how are you every day? Yung ganon. Pero parang, talagang ganon lang sila. Hi, good morning, how are you? Good, how are you? Ganon. Yung parang, it's very normal for them to actually say, hi, hello, good morning, how are you? Yung mga ganon, diba?
Ako
Tapos, you
ma'am,
will not feel na nababastos ka sa profession mo ever.
Mm.
Like, you are doing them a favor because you're doing your job.
Mm.
Diba? Tama ba?
Sobrang appreciative yung mga
mm,
patients
Mm-mm.
dito.
Exactly. Naalala ko yung friend ko, nagtrabaho siya sa Saudi. Nasubukan niya daw mabastos-bastos ng patient doon because she's a Filipina. Nasubukan niya daw na ano, and she's a registered nurse. Parang sabi ko nga, dito hindi mo masusubukan yan kasi they love, most especially Filipinos. Super taas ng tingin nila sa mga Filipino nurses. Diba?
Yeah. Like, parang feeling ko din, compared sa Philippines tsaka sa Saudi, parang dito ko na feel na well respected ako talaga sa profession. Like, ang babait nila. So far, wala pa naman akong na-experience na negative or simple na against sa akin.
Mm-mm. And they always say please and thank you whenever they
Yeah.
ask for something, right? That's
Yeah.
very common to them na parang, can you please hand me? Or kaya sila pa yung gagawa. Diba? Parang, imbes na you were there, hindi nila expect for you to do that for them. They will try and do it themselves before asking for help. They are,
Mm.
ganun sila nasanay dito. Kaya pansinin nyo yung mga bata dito, iba din. Basta yung compared sa US na ang dami-dami nating nababalitaan mga Pilipino na
Racism.
oo, yung racism
Mm.
dito. Wala akong nalalaking maayos yung mga bata dito. Yung gano'n, di ba?
Mm.
We have a question here from Chini. She's also a nurse in the Philippines, graduate siya. Is it advisable po to continue my masterals here in the Philippines if I have plans of going there in Canada using a student visa? Hi, Chini. Message me about that later on. Tulungan kita sa pag-apply ng student visa mo. But guys, what do you think about this?
Is it
Like,
advisable to
if
continue?
kung nurse ka,
Kumukuha siya
mas
masters daw. Kailangan pa ba niya yung pagpunta niya dito?
Anong year ba siya graduate, ma'am? If pwedeng malaman lang.
Si
Kasi if
Chini, oo. Chini, kailan ka graduate? Basta ano yan hindi 2014. Bata pa yan si Chini.
parang
2011. Sorry, Chini, 2011.
2011. May
Mm-mm.
NCLEX na ba siya, ma'am?
May NCLEX ka na daw ba, Chini?
kasi usually po talaga para maging comparable ka. I'm not sure kung i-credit nila
I-honor
ang
nila yung
masteral.
masters.
Kasi
Mm.
'di ba sa masteral may certain kang like for example, nursing administration, gano'n. Sa
Mm-mm.
sa NNAS kasi buong curriculum or buong madami silang ina-assess eh. Ang ina-assess nila talaga is yung bachelor's degree mo. 'Pag na-receive mo
Mm-mm.
yung report mo ng NNAS, makikita mo dun lahat kung ilang percentage ba yung na-met mo or na-comparable mo sa kanila. Tapos
Mm-mm.
ito-total nila yon. Tapos kung pumasok ka sa certain like score, magiging comparable ka. Pero I'm not sure kung wala pa kasi akong na-encounter na may masteral tapos
Actually,
nag
yung friend ko din siya kasi may masteral siya sa Pinas. Pero sa ano siya, sa Alberta, like kakakuha lang din niya ng license niya. Parang hindi rin niya actually yun tinitingnan na advantage kasi nag-take din siya ng NCLEX. Tapos ang pina-assess lang din niya is yung, I think yung bachelor's degree niya sa Pinas. So, yun. Parang wala din ganun ka advantage when it comes to
RN license.
pagkukunin mo yung license mo dito.
So, Chini, in short, like, for them, through their experience, hindi nagamit yung credentials nila for masters. I mean, hindi magagamit masyado yung credentials for the masters. Mas better pa rin yung bachelor's. But since 2011 ka, much better na mag-focus ka sa
Like
NCLEX. Since,
NNAS.
oo, sa NCLEX ka mag-focus. So if you're planning to come here as an international student, Chini, do it for 2024. Message me right away so we can work on it, Chini, ha? Um, so we also have another question here. She's watching from Thailand. Need ba ng NS ang working experience? Pwede ba ma-RN kahit 8 years ago na ang experience?
Actually, sa NNAS pang ina-assess niya talaga is education. So, pwede mo naman i-waive pa yung experience mo, pero pagdating kasi kay CNO, hihingiin niya yung safe practice mo. So, what other people are doing, like before sila pumunta dito sa Canada, nagtitake sila ng like 1 month or kahit nga 1 week lang na experience kung nasaan sila. Like sa Philippines, yung iba nga nandito na sa Canada then umuwi sila sa Philippines for like 1 month para lang sa
Mm-mm.
safe practice nila. Tapos may
Oh.
papapirmahan lang na form sa employer and then isi-send lang kay CNO. Kung kay NNAS, kahit wala, i-waive mo muna yung experience mo. And then kapag may report ka na ni NNAS, port mo na kay CNO, tapos kay CNO mo ipasa yung sa safe practice mo na. Safe practice po kasi yung tawag dun sa experience dito sa akin.
Oh.
Which is
Ano
parang
yung
3
meaning
years
ng,
lang
sorry,
ata. Parang sa
3 years?
CNO kasi yung safe practice nila is kailangan within 3 years. Kaya isa din yun na rason kung bakit may nadali ko kasi mag-e-expire yung safe practice ko ng April 2023. Kaya I made sure na bilisan ko yung process ko para hindi masayang yung safe practice ko.
Okay. So, ibig sabihin, prior to applying for your NNAS, dapat within 3 years yung experience mo in
Yeah.
order for, oh, we have Jerome joining us. Hi, Jerome. We're almost done, but good morning. Oh, we're almost done with our live because I took up a lot of time. But hi, Jerome. So, Jerome, are you also an RN na here or RPN?
Ano pa lang po ako, working on NNAS.
Oh, working. So we have RN, we have RPN, and we have someone working on the NNAS. But so I'm sorry, Jerome, I just need to go back to this real quick. Ha? So in order for you to have that safe practice, the experience should be within 3 years prior to applying for your NNAS. Is that right?
Yes.
So anything beyond that, like for example, hindi siya nakapagtrabaho, hindi na recent yung kanyang safe practice, what would you advise for them to do?
Like,
Uh, you're kind of choppy, pero medyo nag-gets ko yung question. Um, Going back on safe practice, I think it's best for you to get some if you have the chance or opportunity to go back to the Philippines if you're planning to get one. A couple of months won't hurt as long as you have your status here in Canada. So that's one way, but others is just working on your experience already here in Canada. So that's it.
yeah.
Mm-mm. So if when we say go back, how many hours of experience do they need to take in order for you to say na hey, okay, safe practice ulit meron na tayo. Parang ganun.
I'm not sure with the specifics, but I heard some stories that they just stay there for a month or two and work regularly from Monday to Friday as like a full time. And after that, they got a certificate from their employer, and they use that as safe practice.
Okay. So when you say if they cannot like they cannot afford to go back in the Philippines and get that work experience again to have the safe practice, what ano yung what work can they do here in Canada to get that safe practice? Does it have to be in a nursing profession then or PSW would work?
PSW po, hindi po siya accepted kasi nurse dapat yung experience mo. But dito po sa Canada, meron silang tinatawag na SPEP. SPEP, hindi ko sure yung meaning niya. Yun
Yeah,
yung mga
supervised
nurses na
practice.
ang experience nila is beyond 5 years. Pwede ka
Mm-mm.
nilang offeran na mag-work ka with a preceptor sa hospital and then nagka-count ka na nun ng experience. Like, I'm not sure kung 240 hours or 400 hours yung kailangan mong i-complete para ma-met mo yung safe practice mo. Pero yun, bayad yun. Bayad,
Bayad yon.
bayad yun. SPEP yung tawag nila.
Parang
Oh,
Like,
so
ano
that's
din,
supervised
supervised
practice.
practice experience partnership. So, yun yung SPEP wherein someone would be supervising you doing your nursing, I mean your duties as a nurse. And then sila yung parang mag-guarantee na, yeah, they did this, they did that, and then you can have the safe practice. And it's 240 hours and it's paid, right?
yan. Usually, si
But do
CNO
you have to
po
pay for that?
magde-decide niyan. No.
Ah,
Si CNO po
I
magde-decide
see.
niyan eh. Kung eligible ka sa SPEP, bibigyan ka nila like ng link kung saan ka pwedeng mag-apply or sila siguro, pwedeng sila maghanap ng employer sa'yo. Pero yung iba kasi, meron kasi akong mga nakakasama sa hospital like dyan sa Niagara Health. I have some Filipino, nakaka-encounter ako ng mga Filipinos doon na under sila ng SPEP. So, yun lang.
Mm-mm.
Kukumpletuhin lang nila yung 240 hours and then ma-met na nila yung safe practice nila. Yun is kung ayaw mo maghintay na matagal. Pero I have a friend na remember ko,
Mm-mm.
she's in Quebec, but pinaprocess niya yung license niya dito sa Ontario. So what
Mm-mm.
she did is umuwi siya sa Pinas for 1 month and I think
Mm.
she only got at least 1 week of experience.
Really?
And then once makakuha ka po kasi nung verification sa employer and verification sa PRC, isi-send lang po nila kay CNO. And then si CNO, imi-met niya na po yung safe practice mo.
Oh, that's something that
Yun lang
maybe
po
we
kasi
can
kailangan
explore.
mong magkausap ng employer sa Philippines na willing
Mm-mm.
na ipa-work ka ng 1 week or 1 month tapos bibigyan ka nila ng
Like,
papers. Yun.
Some papers. Okay.
and
But
another
for those, oh, sorry, go ahead, Jim.
there's another option pa pala para ma-update nila yung safe practice nila. If they're still in the Philippines or any other country and they're planning to apply here as an international student, they can opt to get an LOA with uh,
Gerontology.
hours with like gerontology. Meron
Mm.
siyang, ano bang tawag nun? Yung
Pero
Practicum.
May
practice,
Co-op,
practicum. Oo.
which
yung
is a
co
good
I
way to
think they called
your
co-op.
safe practice.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, meron
So,
silang consolidation. Like at
oo.
once
yun,
a week
so
ata yun.
Yeah,
And then
Yeah.
once ma-complete mo yun, mamimet mo yung
safe
safe
practice.
practice
Safe
ng hospital.
practice. So if you get the gerontology program, then you can get the safe practice. Pero guys, just to let you know who are interested to take the gerontology program in Niagara, it is only being offered as a second program, not your first program. So if you are interested to apply at Niagara College to become an international student, gerontology, if you don't have a safe practice, go for gerontology, or maybe you can go for SPEP. If you don't want to be studying anymore, go for SPEP na lang kasi gerontology would cost you another 18,000 Canadian dollars and another 1 year. But the advantage of that is getting the 3-year PGWP. But then again, if you're a nurse, if you already have your license, you no longer need that because most probably you're gonna have your draw soon, di ba? Kasi targeted kayo. In demand po ang profession nyo dito. To give you an idea with SPEP, what Norm was talking about, SPEP, as I've mentioned, is actually Supervised Practice Experience Partnership Program. And you have to apply it through CNO nga siya. So, ang mga kailangan dapat dyan is dapat yung experience nyo is no more than 5 years before applying for the program. So, yung sa question ng ating viewer, since 8 years na siya, hindi na siya makakwalify sa SPEP. Kasi more than 8 years na yon. So, dapat no more than 5 years. Tapos, meron dapat evidence of practice and evidence of practice and language proficiency. So, siguro for you, sis, since 8 years ago na, to have that safe practice, siguro, you have to go back to the Philippines and get that, that safe practice again. Work for 1 month, as they've mentioned. Yun lang naman. Ang dami kong nalalaman kunyari dito. Thank you so much, guys. I have another question here from Chini. When you say safe practice, I think nagkamali lang siya. Does this include being a clinical instructor in a uni or hospital experience? Anyone can answer.
hindi ko.
Hmm.
As long as yung job responsibilities mo is in line sa role ng RN. Kasi I know some like they they work in as an occupational nurse in the Philippines. I'm not so sure when it comes to like clinical instructor. But as far as I know, as long as parehas lang yung job responsibilities mo as an RN, it will do.
Feeling ko kasi sa CI, sa mga clinical instructor, what they do is mostly guide students eh.
Yeah.
Like,
Mm.
this is what you have to do in the hospital, but they don't do the actual tasks of being an RN itself. So I think, I mean, correct me anytime, but I think what can be considered a safe practice would be hospital experience, like
Yeah.
bedside experience, no?
Actually po sa Qatar, before ako umalis, ang job ko po talaga is nasa admin na ako. Like
Mm-mm,
2 years before kasi 5 years ako din, last 2 years ko is admin na ako.
mm-mm,
And what I did is, I asked my employer to just put in my COE or job description na staff nurse lang ako. So, hindi ko
no,
na include
nurse.
yung, kasi alam ko kasi na hindi iyaano ng NNAS yung pagiging admin ko. So, I spoke with kasi nagjo-duty pa din naman ako, pero yun nga lang, twice a week na lang siya.
Mm-mm. At least, di
Kaya
ba, you're still doing it, pero twice a
yeah,
week
I'm
lang
still
siya,
doing
oh.
it, pero mostly kasi ng work ko admin na. So what I
Mm-mm,
did is kinausap ko na lang yung employer ko na wag nang i-specify na nag-admin ako for the last 2 years. So ginawa naman nila and na-met ko naman yung safe practice ko. Pero met pa din
mm-mm.
naman siya kasi within last 2 years naman yung
Oh,
mm.
experience mo. Exactly. How about you, Jerome? Are you also classmates with Norms, Jen, and Bernard?
Yes po. Classmates ko sila sa palliative in Niagara College. Actually, I'm the
Okay.
last person in the group na nag-process ng NNAS. So everyone actually processed theirs before they entered, and then I think Bernard was the last one before me. It was way back November, and he got his around Feb and Pre
Mm.
or March,
Mm.
and then he passed. I just recently processed mine. Actually, sending out of documents like a week or 2 weeks ago. So I'm just waiting for my documents to come back and then i-verify ng NNAS, then going for CNO. Um, ang ang part doon sa NNAS is not really about saving money yung sasabihin ko, pero kasi ipaprocess mo, mamili ka ng RN and RPN. So go for both at the same time. Ang isasuggest ko, kahit may additional siyang couple of dollars, around total siya ng mga um, 1-1 ata yung first application mo, an additional of 300 Canadian for the second one. So in total, around 1-4 Canadian yung for both RN and RPN. Pag isa lang, then around 1-1 as I've mentioned. So if ever you guys are planning to apply, that really depends on you, pero ang isa-suggest ko is go for both, kasi in any case na hindi ka nag-met sa RN, then
Yeah,
mamimit mo yung requirements ng RPN.
exactly. Saves you the time as well, right? If you didn't like, kapag ka nag-RN ka lang, tapos mag-apply ka na naman for RPN, might as well do it
Yes.
at the same time, right? Oo. How about like how soon should they be processing their NNAS, Jerome? What would you say about that?
Come again? Sorry, nagputol po.
Like how soon should they be processing their NNAS?
I would say if you're planning to study, before you study, process your NNAS immediately. So while studying, waiting ka na rin for everything. So if you're also planning to have a 1-year program only, then at the end of the school or before end of the school, RN ka na, then you're working on your hours already na ma-meet mo yung RN criteria, not as a PSW.
Okay. All right. I think I just have two more questions and then we can end this webinar, but I appreciate it. Okay. So why did you choose Ontario compared to the other provinces when entering Canada? Bakit sa Ontario kayo nagpunta? I mean, you may have like your own personal reasons, but basically, why Ontario?
Ako po dati kasi ang choice ko talaga is yung Cape Breton University sa Nova Scotia. But when I do further research kasi, that time kasi po, si Ontario lang ang tumatanggap ng NCLEX US. para maging RN ka dito sa Canada. Before po. Pero ngayon kasi naglabas na ng bagong notion si Nova Scotia. So, isa po yun sa kinonsider ko. Kasi that time po, hindi pa naman po ako sure na comparable ako. Actually pala, sa NNAS pala, nag-RN and RPN pa ako kasi hindi ako naniwala sa classmate ko nung sabi niya comparable. So, nasayang yung $300 ko. Pero it's okay. It saved me time and gave me peace of mind na may backup ako if ever hindi ako makomparable. Pero before kasi talaga si Ontario lang yung tumatanggap na NCLEX US. So kung hindi ako makomparable NCLEX kay NNAS, I have a choice na mag-NCLEX US para maging RN dito. Pero ngayon kasi
Mm.
there's a lot of changes naman na.
Exactly. Oo. So would you would have come here as an international student if those changes happened prior to you applying, or would you have applied na lang directly as a nurse here?
I would still go for international student. Kasi sobrang bilis po ng process eh. And masasabi ko naman po na worth it naman yung mga pinagdaanan and gastos. Kasi RN naman na and I have a lot of time na mabawi yung yung ginastos ko sa pagiging international student. And na-appreciate ko po talaga yung Canada. And even the workplace, na-appreciate ko siya. So, yun lang po.
Mm. How about you, Jen? Why would you like why Ontario, or if for example na ibalita na nag-take effect yung mga changes na prior to you deciding na mag-international student ka, would you have gone the same route?
Like first, why Ontario? Kasi we have family relatives here, so that's the main reason why we opted to go here in Ontario. And apart from that, yung weather din, kasi since may kids kami, so we just want na yung tama lang ba? Although
Mm.
minsan hindi malamig pa din.
But can you imagine if nalalamigan na tayo at sobrang nahihirapan tayo dito pag
True.
winter? Can you imagine the other places, other provinces? Like, they have longer winter months
Yes,
compared to us. We have 4 equal season of summer, I mean spring, summer, fall, and winter. They have 9 months of winter, and somewhere along the way may spring sila at may summer sila at may fall sila. Diba? Parang it's
yes.
even harder.
Yes, and when it comes naman sa like other provinces na naglusan na ng restriction, I would say like yeah, I would still go as an international student because yun yung pinakamabilis na pathway. And like me, I have a family. Gusto ko kasi sama-sama kami. And like dun sa bagong like RN pathway, there's no assurance that you could bring your family immediately with you. I'm not so sure if how that works. But unlike sa international student na for sure sama-sama kayong makakapunta sa Canada immediately. At ang bilis ng process.
Yeah, exactly. How about you, Jerome? Jerome, I'm sorry, I didn't ask you. Did you come here with family or single ka ba? Kunwari, tulad ni Bernard.
Kasama ko pa yung wife ko nung dumating dito.
That's
So,
good.
yes. Actually, our experience is last minute, actually a week before the start of class kami na approve ng visa. So, everything was hectic and we don't have a house to live. Pero, I would still go for international student katulad nila. And I'm doubling down on the international students because since sila nakapag-process na sila ng NNAS, mayroon silang option na kahit hindi na mag-second program since considering express entries, something like that, mag-NOCA na sila. Sa akin kasi since late ako nag-process, kaya mag-second program din ako ngayon.
Ooh.
The benefit of that na nakikita ko para sa akin is more time. Hindi ako nagmamadali sa documents and all in processing. And actually, I'm not really aware of the process before. I just went to Canada. I heard about this. And then from here on, dito ko nalaman. That's why mas okay para sa akin yung second program para mas matutunan ko yung processes. Actually, they are the one who teach me about the process. So I only ask them from time to time, and then I do some research. From then, yeah. So if you're not really that prepared, um, the only thing you need to prepare is the money because that's really expensive.
It
Um,
is.
as mentioned, 18K per
1 year.
program.
Yeah.
Unless you want to go for a 2-year program, same thing.
Yep.
Um, so yun yung way ko na magkaroon ng more time and
Yeah, 3 years
prepare
na
myself.
PGWP, di ba?
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
So
So,
ang also pala i-add ko doon is if you're not prepared financially, go for 1+1
yeah.
programs, not directly go for a 2-year program so you can
Yep.
have like breaks in between and you can earn. That's what I did. That's what I'm doing right now. And kung two programs diretso, masasagad yung finances niyo. Yun lang.
Yes. So like right now, Jerome, like you finished your first program, you're now on your like let's say technically break, although hindi siya break kasi tapos na yung studies mo, nakuha mo na yung completion certificate mo. So you already applied for your study permit extension?
Yes.
Okay.
After lumabas ng grades, same time na nag-process din sila ng PGWP nila. Nag-process actually a month before graduating, nag-process na ako ng extension of visa.
Mm-mm.
Um, it's always good to have like 4 months kasi sabi na
Mm-mm.
3 months ang leeway
Yes.
before you can renew. 4 to 5 months
Mm-mm.
is good. Para
Exactly.
bigyan mo sila ng time mag-process. Hindi mo alam mangyayari in between kung madedelay o hindi. And
Mm-mm.
also yung siyempre kailangan mo din heads up sa lahat ng bagay na finances. Talaga dun nag-iikot yung yung pag-start mo dito finances and then how to go by day. You know?
Yes, exactly. How about you, Bernard? Um, why Ontario initially? And then if, for example, nag-take effect na yung mga changes na ano, before ka nag-apply as an international student, would you have gone as an international student still, or would you have applied as a temporary foreign worker somewhere else, not in Ontario?
Um, ang original plan ko kasi before, ma'am, is New Zealand. Pero biglang nagkaroon ng COVID. Tapos ang nag-open lang kasi noon is Canada. And then dito sa Ontario, sa Niagara College, kasi noon, hindi na sila nagre-require ng English test. Unlike sa ibang
Yes.
na may haganap pa sila ng IELTS,
Provinces.
PTE, provinces,
Yeah.
gano'n. So, yun
Yeah.
yung naging kuwan ko na magpunta sa Ontario. And na-advise ko lang sa mga sa mga nasa Saudi, nasa Saudi,
Shout
kumpletuhin niyo na
out sa
lahat.
mga nasa
ah
Saudi.
Kumpletuhin niyo na lahat ng mga documents niyo kung may balak kayong punta ng Canada at yung
True.
mga separation pay niyo is ibaon niyo.
Ipunin nyo. Huwag
Ipunin niyo kasi
gagastusin.
yes, para hindi kayo naggagahol sa time about money and all. And yeah,
Tama.
maganda yung weather dito sa Ontario compared sa iba for what I've seen and what others are telling me. Kasi alam mo naman, young at heart, may arthritis na. Hindi na kaya ang lamig.
Ako din, hindi ko rin kaya masyadong malamig to be honest kay Ontario. But anyway, so yun lang naman. Ano yung ano, hindi, just to add kasi wala akong against sa other ano, actually maganda yung ibang provinces and if dun kayo mapi-PR, go for it. If you feel like your budget is just enough for you to go to other provinces, go for it so long as you enter Canada. I think the only difference is that again, yung nabanggit nga ni Bernard, other provinces kasi if you're gonna be taking the nursing programs is that they would require you IELTS always. They require IELTS if you're gonna take healthcare programs. Unlike here in Ontario, there are several schools I can say Niagara College and Mohawk. They're waiving um, they are waiving IELTS for the nursing profession for the nursing program. So those are the options that you guys can have if you want to come here as an international student. At the same time, mas mura ang tuition sa Ontario compared to other provinces. Hindi ko pinagbibida yung Ontario. I
True.
can say na okay din talaga sa ibang province. Siguro nagkataon lang na mas kung medyo tight ang budget ninyo, Ontario kayo. Kung gusto hindi nyo kayang weather, mag-Ontario kayo. Kung ayaw nyo pang mag-IELTS, saka na lang pag PR, mag-Ontario kayo. Pero kung ready na kayo sa lahat, then go to other provinces. But Ontario, I have never in my 3 years here in Canada, wala akong regret that I chose Ontario above compared to other provinces. I'm good here right now. So last question, guys. Aside kay Jerome na kukuha pa ng second program, bakit naglakas loob kayo na hindi mag plus one? Kasi 1 plus 1, okay, just to give you an idea, guys, if you have a 1 year program here in Canada, you will be eligible for a 1 year post graduation work permit. But for Jerome's case, since he's going to be taking a second program, so it's not a 2 year program, it's a 1 plus 1 program. They're entirely different, but it's going to be considered as a 2 year program, 1 plus 1. But he's going to be able to, he may be eligible for a 3 year post graduation work permit, which would give him more time for the PR application. But aside from that, for the three of you, bakit naglakas loob kayo na, hey, okay na ako, 1 year PGWP lang, push na yan, gano'n. So, why didn't you go for the second program? What are the peer pathways you're looking at right now?
Ako po, kaya ako nag 1 year program. Kasi before talaga, sabi ko, kung hindi ako magiging RN before ako graduate, magsa-second program ako. Pero dahil nga sobrang bilis ng pangyayari, I I've been working full-time, nag-i-study pa ako. So, I have the advantage kasi natapos yung class April 29 and na lumabas yung completion letter namin May 1. So, since May 1, I've been counting hours na nung nag-apply ako ng PGWP. So, right now, I'm implied status. So, I'm still waiting for my PGWP, but I'm already counting hours towards my CEC if ever I will go for the Canadian Experience class. And ngayon, last time kasi naglabas sila ng rule na nag-extend sila ng 8 plus 18 months sa mga mag-expire this year. So, hindi kasi sure kung ano ba yung mga ibibigay ni Canada
Canada
sa
next year.
na advantages or mga paiba-iba kasi si Canada eh. Like now, naglabas sila ng ng news na meron silang targeted occupation which is kasama na naman yung healthcare. So, just also to save money para hindi na kami para hindi na gumastos for second program. And I'm praying na matagal ma-approve yung PGWP ko. Kasi doon pala, after ma-approve yung PGWP, doon pala mag-start yung 1 year namin. So,
Exactly.
I'm taking risk. Pero kasi, I'm thankful nga na nakuha ko na yung license ko. That's why I decided to take 1 year na lang.
How about you, Jen? Especially you're with your 2 kids, with your husband, so the whole family. Like, I'm not saying na, no, pero why did you take that risk of applying for your PGWP, which is 1 year program?
Like, for me, it wasn't an easy decision actually kasi yun nga, I have lots of consideration. I have my family with me. So, parang ang naging basis ko kasi, sabi ko sa asawa ko, if ma-RN ako before matapos ng program, I think that's one sign na hindi na ako magsa-second program, which is, in the first place, parang ayaw niya kasi mas malakas kasi yung loob ko kung tutuusin. And then, parang, anong tawag nito? Yun nga, kasi mas higher na kasi yung chances na like, maka-apply ako ng PR kasi assured na yung NOCA ko na job. Tapos, although stressful kasi as a stage ako na I have to do a lot of research kung paano ko i-utilize yung time na limited lang dahil kasi nga sa decision na ginawa ko. And isa pa, like, yung katulad din ni Norms, parang super nagpe-pray din ako na hindi mo natin lumabas yung PGWP ko kasi the more it takes longer, parang additional bonus na yun sa amin sa 1
So
year.
you're gaining your hours now for the experience for CEC, right?
Yeah. And then, yun nga, parang blessing din kasi parang recently lang parang in-announce na parang to qualify sa I'm not so sure if that is CEC or FSW is you have to have like 6 months of continuous work as full-time. So, there's a lot of options kaya feeling ko kailangan ko lang talagang i-let go yung mga anxieties and pressures na nararamdaman ko ngayon. Like, just go with the flow, just take it slow. Parang yun na lang talaga yung pinangahawakan ko ngayon.
Correct. And prayers, maraming maraming prayers, 'di ba? Na we wouldn't be here if there's parang kung walang dahilan.
If it's
We're
meant for
supposed to
us.
be here, we're meant to be here. Yung gano'n, 'di ba? Parang, okay, how about you, Sir Bernard? Bakit ka nag-take ng chance? Wala pa dito si wife tsaka si daughter.
Ah,
Si daughter talaga. Pero bakit wala pa si daughter at saka si wife pero you took the chance of just taking the one-year program, like
ah,
one-year PG?
kasi mga kailangan ko kasing mag-save. I need some money. Parang di ko na kayang magbayad ng second program. So, magbabago lang siguro yung decision ko na hindi ako nag 1 year kung hindi ako nakapasa ng RPN ko.
Yeah.
And then, yun nga, sabi nga ni Ma'am Jen, is uh, sa kanila is hindi pa na natanggap yung PGWP nila. Unlike me, lumabas na. Sakto pa yung birthday ng anak ko, May 25. Hindi ko ina-expect. Though meron naman siyang magandang after a few months, lumabas yung sasabi ni Ma'am Jen na after 6 months pwede ka na mag-apply for express entry. Ganun.
Okay. All right. So, with Jerome naman, alam natin since na nag-take siya ng 2-year program, so he wanted to be on the safe side. But in order for you to be on that safe side, that means you are financially prepared. You have to make sure that you can shoulder another 18,000 Canadian dollars for your education. I think the clear takeaway that we can have from this would be if you are planning to come here as an international student, just to save time, save stress, save yourself from a lot of worry. Process your NNAS right away as soon as you can. You have to process your NNAS because that would give you the freedom to make the decision if you're gonna take another program or not. Having that assurance that you are already registered here in Canada to practice your profession would give you the peace of mind that, hey, no matter what, I can go somewhere and get that work permit somewhere else, right? Because you know that your profession is in demand. So whatever happens, if by any chance you don't get your permanent residency for the 1-year post-graduation work permit, you know that you have somewhere else to go because you are registered here as nurses, right? So no matter what, if you don't get your PR, go somewhere else. Get that work permit, right? Get that LMIA. Most probably you will get that. You will get that somewhere else if not here in Ontario. But I have high hopes that you will get your permanent residency here in Ontario as well. So we're not just counting on CEC for you guys. Because for CEC, you do know that you have to work 1 year in order for you to qualify for the PR. You also have your OINP, right? You can file for it right now. Since you're all employed, dapat ngayon pa lang nagsasubmit na kayo ng EOI ninyo for international student stream. Meron pa bang ibang stream? Meron yung kaka-announce lang ngayon na targeted profession. So put your express entry profile out there. Put your NOC out there. You'd never know what would happen. Remember, ang kailangan lang naman ngayon sa latest announcement is that your profession, the targeted occupation, should be your profession for the last 3 years. And that's it. Wala namang ibang sinabi, di ba?
Yes.
So, yun lang. So, put yourself out there. Create that express entry as soon as you can kasi you're already working full-time. So, that's it for now, guys. May mga naiwan pa rin nanonood sa atin. Ang syaga, 2 oras tayo nagdadaldalan dito. But I appreciate you guys spending your time with me for almost 2 hours so that we can help out other people who are also interested to come here, may it be as an international student or as a temporary foreign worker. We just want to say that Canada Life is the best decision we've made so far. So for every one of us here na nandito na sa Canada, it's the best decision that we've made for ourselves and for our family. Now, for those, sorry, ipuput ko lang yung business hat ko for the meantime. And as Norms knows this kasi I'm assisting international students in getting a free letter of acceptance everywhere. Across Canada, but specifically for nurses who'd want to come here as an international student like them, we have like right now Ganito ka in demand ha, sa Niagara College po, across Canada, kaka-open pa lang ng May 2024. But because napaka in demand ng nursing program sa Niagara College, May 2024 po waitlisted na po lahat ng nursing programs. It's because of, totoo yan, magbubukas pa lang, sarado na. You know why? Because of those students are gonna get a second program, just like Jerome. Those students who were waitlisted last January 2024, they were transferred to May 2024. So that's part of the reason why May 2024 for Niagara College, wala na, waitlisted na siya. So mapupunta pa sila ng September actually. So if you want Niagara College, you can apply for September 2023 as soon as you can. Kasi ganun kabilis, ganun ka-in demand ang mga nurses dito at maraming mga Filipino nurses na nag-aaral sa Niagara. So they are that. And if you want naman, we have Mohawk College. So actually, Mohawk is located in Hamilton. And Hamilton is the healthcare hub here in Canada. Here in Ontario kasi they are surrounded by 9 big hospitals. So yung employment ninyo, never yung pag-iisipan yan. Tsaka karamihan sa Hamilton, mga puti-puti. Anyway, so yun lang. But Mohawk College, yung intake na open nila is January 2024 pa. Sila yung laging huli. So if you are a nurse and you'd want to come here next year, Mohawk College is your best bet. Pero sobrang kailangan mag-submit na kayo ng application nyo right away. Kasi mabilis din maubos. If Niagara College ang target niyo, right away mag-submit na kayo for September 2023. Kasi ganun kahaba yung waitlist nila. So that's it for now. If you guys are interested, you can send me a message. I will be able to help you out. Bernard, if you have any concerns with regards to applying for open work permit for your wife and a study permit for your kids, I'll be happy to help you out. Just message
Thank
me.
you.
That's it for now. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Jerome, Bernard, Jed, and Norms, thank you so much. Good luck sa inyong PR journey. Jerome, for your second program. Don't lose, if ever you need anything or you have a question, we have the group chat. Don't hesitate to send me a message. I'll be glad to help or answer any of your questions. Okay, that's it for now. Filipinas, have a good night and good morning sa mga nanonood sa, meron tayong Thailand, meron tayong Dubai, meron tayong Saudi. Thank you so much for watching. Meron tayong mga kanta. Salamat na salamat. Have a good night. God
Thank
bless
you po.
everyone.
Thank you. Have a good
Have
day.
a nice
Bye-bye.
day.
Ito yung
Yes,
podcast.
yes.
Oo, end ko